Hi everybody, in this video I'll show you the two types of simulation activities that we'll see in our learning materials as well as your weekly assignments. The first type is the practice trainings that are located in the learning materials. These are ungraded, but they are good practice to prepare you for the actual assignments here listed in the assignment section. So these practice trainings in the learning materials, again, they're optional learning activities that will just help you practice your skills at your own pace. You're going to see step-by-step instructions. You'll also see some hints, learning aids, and you're also able to try as many times as you want. Again, this practice training in the learning materials, these two, they don't count toward your grade. It's just there to help you learn and feel confident before you move on to the assignments. So these simulations are required and they are graded assignments. They're very similar to the practice training. However, the questions are slightly different, but still similar. Also, you only get a limited number of attempts on each question or task for the assigned ones. So that means that you need to be able to read the instructions carefully, also pay attention to details, and make sure that you do these practice before you even try to complete the graded ones. And so I'm going to start by opening up the Word 1A simulation practice just to give you an overview of what the simulation practice will look like. So when you open it up, and I just opened up again the Word 1A simulation practice, it gives you a brief introduction to the specific topic that we'll be covering first. In this case, it's just talking about creating a new document in Word. Once you're done clicking, you'll click your Continue button, and then that's going to bring you to the main window. Keep in mind that this is a simulated Word environment. On the bottom, we do have some instructions. So the text in this larger black font is a task that you'll need to complete. After you complete it, then it's going to bring this gray set of instructions up here, and it will then be in bold font. So just make sure that you concentrate in what's black and bolded here. Also, here we have 1 of 16. This means that we have 1 of 16 tasks. Attempts remaining just tells me that I have 15 attempts to complete each task. In addition, we have this learning aids. So keep in mind that these learning aids are only available in the practice. When you do the actual homework assignment, you won't be able to do these, or you won't have access to this. So make sure that you are able to complete all of the steps in the practice before moving on to the homework. But these learning aids are really useful because you have this option to read instructions, which is going to bring you to the e-text. You also have the option to watch a video or to do a practice. And so the video and practice are specific to this bolded task that's up here. So if I were to click on practice, and so what it does is walk me through step by step of what needs to be done. So it's going to show you a little arrow there. Also, you'll notice that whatever we need to click on is going to have this red dashed border around it. And so that's all we needed to do for that task. Because that was just a practice, we still need to do it on our own. So I'll click on it. And then now if you take a look at the bottom, it tells us what we need to do. So next it says enter internship opportunities, and then hit our enter key 2 times. So whenever you see blue text here in the instructions, that is what you're going to type. So I'll type in internship opportunities, and it's really important that you do check your spelling. It won't allow you to move on if you don't have proper spelling. Okay, so I'll press enter 2 times, and then it will tell me more instructions. For your simulation practice, you do have the ability to save or submit. If you click on save, the next time that you open up this activity, it will save your progress. If you submit it, it's just going to submit the entire thing. But again, as I mentioned, these are ungraded practice just for your own learning materials. Okay, also in the learning aids is this watch video. And so if I were to play it, it would play me, and in this instance, it's just about just under 1:30. Okay, and so the video is actually going to be longer than just what you need for that specific task, but it's going to walk you through all of the tasks that you'll need to do for the assignment. But for you, I would think that just doing the practice is going to help you immensely, especially if you ever get stuck on anything. Another thing you'll see is this little keyboard icon. So if you click on this keyboard, that's going to open up a simulated keyboard. If you're using a MacBook or a Chromebook, depending on your keys, you might not be able to complete certain keyboard shortcuts or use the function key row on the top of your keyboard, and that's when you would use this keyboard here. So just keep that in mind. If there's any tasks that you can't complete because it's telling you to do maybe like a Control-C or a function row key, just open up this keyboard and then use the keys here. After you've used your keys, you would then click the Go button, and that would insert that shortcut or whatever function you used into MyLab for you. But if you don't have a Mac or a Chromebook, don't worry about having to use this. Okay, and so that was it for the 1A simulation practice. Again, notice here it says 1 of 16, so you do have a total of 16 tasks to practice through. But I do want to show you the actual graded assignments so you can see the difference. Okay, and so here we can see I've opened up the graded assignment. It tells me the instructions. So display a blank Microsoft Word document. So I'll click on blank document. That's going to open up a simulated blank document. Keep in mind though, you only have 3 attempts for each of these 16 questions. So make sure that you don't just click around unnecessarily. Notice that just clicking up there marked me as incorrect, and it also got rid of one of my attempts. So be very careful about this. The assignments are meant to test your understanding from what you learned in the practice simulations. Okay, and again, you do not have those learning aids here for the simulation homework assignments. And that's why it's really important that you still complete that practice training even though it isn't graded. But similar to the practice training, you also have the Save for Later button here. That way you don't have to complete the entire homework assignment in one sitting. The next time that you open it up, it will bring you back to the last question that you worked on. After you're finished with all of your tasks, it should automatically prompt you to submit it, or you'll just click OK. If you click this Submit Your Assignment button, it is going to tell you that it's incomplete if you didn't complete all 16 of these tasks. So be very careful about using the Save versus the Submit. Okay, and that was it for the simulation homework assignments. So again, for these homework assignments, be very careful because you only have 3 attempts per task here. and I can't extend any of the attempts.